there's a lot of pain going on the countryside right now.
It's harvest season for soybean farmers in America's heartland. But despite ample yields, this year may well be a bust.
As far as I know, for the 2025 crop, they've bought 0 U.S. soybeans.
They refers to China, which is the top export market for U.S. soybean producers.
So, yeah, China is definitely going elsewhere to the extent that they can. You know, I assume that at some point they'll buy some U.S. soybeans, but so far it's a goose egg for the 25 crop.
America's soybean farmers are caught in an increasingly heated trade war between Washington and Beijing.
So I'd say China's market isn't just important. I think it's essential, almost existential for US soybean farmers. It was around early 2000s when China actually became the dominant buyer of American soybeans. By 2017, China was buying about 62% of all of US soybean exports. I think it would not be an overstatement to say that without the Chinese market, without the Chinese demand for their product, the US would have been looking at chronic oversupply or repeated price crashes.
On the other side, China relies heavily on imported soybeans, which are also used for livestock feed.
So China is the world's largest soybean consumer, mainly driven by its vast demand for animal feed as well as edible oil production. And according to government data, last year, during the agriculture year of 2023 to 2024, China consumed around 117 million tons of soybeans, and around 90% of which were imported soybeans.
China bought nearly 13 million tons of soybeans in September alone. But as its trade war with the U.S. rages on, China has been sourcing the commodity from other markets. The country has mainly been buying from South American countries, with Brazil and Argentina filling most of the orders. In September, Chinese importers bought millions of tons of the staple crop from Argentina when it briefly suspended export taxes, pushing its soybean export orders to a 7-year high. That was despite the financial support Washington provided to Argentina's crisis-hit economy. The U.S. president has vowed to hit back while promising relief to soybean farmers.
And we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, we're going to give it to our farmers, who are for a little while going to be hurt until it kicks in, the tariffs kick into their benefit. So we're going to make sure that our farmers are in great shape because we're taking in a lot of money. We're finding, the other day, it was very interesting, they found $31 billion. They said, sir, we found 31. I said, you mean positively, right? They said, yeah, 31 million more than we knew. And they said, we don't know where it came from. I said, check the tariff shelf. They came back the following morning. They said, you're right, sir, it came from the tariffs. We've never seen anything like this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking some money from all of the tariff money that we've taken, and we're going to distribute it to our farmers until the tariffs kick into their benefit, which ultimately the farmers are going to be making a fortune. But it's a process of it has to kick in.
There's a sense of déjà vu among U.S. farmers who also bore the brunt of the 2018 trade war during the first Trump administration. And with farmers among his strongest supporters, the pressure is on for the U.S. leader to deliver.
At least we can say that Trump is highly motivated to have this kind of deal with China because there have been so many complaints from U.S. farmers and the U.S. agricultural community. They are a very important political base for Trump. So I think Trump is really want a deal like that. During the past 4 rounds of U.S.-China talk, they haven't touched on this. They haven't addressed on this topic. While back in the first trade war, we've seen that soybean was among the items that Beijing promised to purchase more from U.S. to reach a comprehensive deal with Washington. While during the trade war 2.0, we haven't seen discussions on this. So Beijing is kind of holding the card.
When you talk to the farmers here and you ask them what is worse, was their condition worse back in 2018 when Trump started the trade war with China, or is it worse now? So they tell you that it's even worse now because the input cost has skyrocketed. Fertilizers, equipments that's have kind of nearly doubled in prices over the 5 years. They're talking about seed, crop protection products are really expensive right now. So I think the farmers feel that this time around their position is even weaker than the last time.
It's sentiment echoed by third-generation soybean farmer Chris Gould, who warns that the stakes could not be higher.
You know, the message is we need our government to do their job, which is not write emergency aid checks to us, but to promote worldwide trade so we can earn our income like we need to.